Academy. Thanks for being there for us. Thanks for subscribing to our channel. And for those that have not yet subscribed, we are begging you should subscribe to our channel so that you can watch more tutorials, more educative tutorials. I'm so sorry I've not been posting lately. I've been very busy. So today I'm going to be working on this project. It's a basque waistline gown, basque hipline gown. So I'm having my fabric to be used here. I have this plain fabric and I have a flowered fabric because I'm going to be doing it as plain and pattern. So I have my French cuff, I have my armhole cuff, I have my neck cuff, I have my hip cuff, and I have my long ruler. This is my marker and my scissors. So that's what I'm going to be working with. This is my list. I have length 40. The gown, as you can see in the picture, the gown is an half length with, is a basque new gown, this trending basque gown. So the length is, the whole length is length 40. My bust circumference is 40. My waist circumference is 34. My hip circumference is 42. My length to hip line, that is my length to where the hip line will be, is 23. Length to under the bust is 13. Length to the waistline is 18. And my shoulder is 8. In this dress, I'm using a stretchy fabric, so I might not need to be putting that because this fabric is stretching, so I don't need to put that. So I'm not going to be measuring my nipple to nipple allowance. So, and I'm not going to be putting zipper at the back because it's a stretchy material. It's easy to wear. If you are using a thick material, you have to put a zipper at the back. For this, I'm not going to be putting a zipper. So the measurement again is length 40, bust 40, waist 34, hip 42, length to hip line 23, under bust, length to under bust 13, and length to waistline 16. So I'll start. So I'm going to start with my length. As you can see, my length is length 40. I have 40 here. I have 40 here. So this is my length 40 here. I'm not going to be putting bending allowance because I'm going to be slanting it and putting this plain, this pattern one. This plain is the one that will be at the upper part, as you can see in the picture. So my waistline is 13 and my under bust is 13 and my waistline is 16. So this is my under bust and this is my waistline. So you are going to rule your line here. So this is my waistline 16, my under bust 13. So you create that line there. So my shoulder is shoulder 8. On here I have shoulder 8 and plus joining for sleeve, that is 8.5. So that is 8.5. For my neck, I'm going to be doing a round neck. You can decide to do a V-shaped neck or a round neck or any one of your choice, but for this I'm going to be doing a round neck and I don't want it to be too wide. So I'm using 3 inches width by 4 inches length. 3 inches width, 4 inches length. So I'm going to be connecting the neck with my curved neck cuff. So this is it like this. After that is my shoulder slope. You slope your shoulder by 1 inch. Always note to slope your shoulder. So the next thing is my armhole length. So my armhole length, I told you if you want to calculate your armhole, divide your bust by 6 plus 1.5. If you look at this bust, 40 divided by 6, that is 6.75 plus 1.5, that is 8 inches. How to get your correct armhole length? You divide your bust by 6 plus 1.5. So this is my armhole length. My shoulder is 8 plus joining 8.5. So you create the line there. So in the armhole, I told you we are not going to put that, so we don't need to be putting half. You can shape your armhole in small. You can actually shape it so that it can have a fitting. That fitting, you can come in by half an inch and go back like this. Come in by half an inch and go back to the shoulder so that this place will not be too much. So on the bust side, I have bust 40, that is 10. I told you it's a stretchy material and I'm not putting that, so I won't add that allowance. 10 inches. So you take it to the hop, and my seam allowance is 1.5 inches. It's like an English dress. I'm not needing lining to turn, so I don't need 2 inches. So on the waistline, I have 34. That is 8.5. Note that. So 8.5 plus 1.5 seam allowance. So on my hip line, and my hip line length is 23. This is it here. 23 is my hip line. So on the hip line, that is where you measure your hip circumference. That hip line is very, very essential so that your hip line will be accurately on the person's hip. So I have hip 42 here, which is 10.5. This is it here, and this is 1.5 inches here. So I'm going to be connecting it to the, you can use a dot. You can say I'm using my free hand. If you have your curved ruler, you can use it. So I'm connecting it. So at the down part, you know, is a pencil basket gown. So what I'm going to do at the down part, I'm going to be reducing out of the measurement because I want it to bring out the, really bring out the shape. Since this place is 10.5, the hip is 10.5, I'm going to be removing 1.5 inches away from here. That means 1.5 minus 10.5, that is 9 inches. I will have 9 inches here with my seam allowance. If I use 1.5 here, I'm going to be using 1 here so that it will not be too much here. So from this place, I'm going to be connecting it. You can dot it, or you use your curved ruler, you can connect it so that it can have that penciled shape. So after that, I connect it together so you can see our shape there. So this is the measurement. This is the hip line. This is the hip line, which is the HP, waistline, WL, the under bust, which is UB, and this is the shoulder. Like I told you, know that this is just what we are going to cut out. But before we cut it out, if you look at the gown very well, it's a basque hip line. So after the hip, you have to measure after the hip. I'm going to be using from length 30 is where I'm going to be connecting. So I'm using length 30 because the whole length is marking the 30 plus I'm going to be joining it to the down. So I have to put the allowance. I'm going to be putting 1 inch because of the shoulder on too. So at this point, this is the length I need. I need at the side. So I'm going to be using my curved ruler to join it. A straight one. I'm going to be cutting it like a curved. So by the time the pleating is coming, it's after the hip line. Please don't go and put it at the hip line direct. Let it come down a bit after the hip line so that the beauty will come out. So for us to get the accurate length that we need at the down, it is this side that is the accurate length, which is 15. You know, this place is small. This place is smaller than here. If you go and use this one length to cut the pattern fabric, this place will jump up unless you are placing it on a straight gown. But if you want to cut it the way I'm doing, you have to measure this side. This is 15. That means if we are adding the length of this to the plane, it will be 15 inches that we used to do the pleat. We will now reshape it at here. So this is what I'm going to cut out now. So this is how I'm going to go. I'm starting from the neck side. The shoulder slope, the armhole, the side, so for it not to be too sharp, I will have to come this way. I'll come from here. You see how it is? So by the time I open it and I put the frills, you see the hip line. So this is the actual length. Here is the basket. So if you still want it to go up, you can actually still let it go up, but it should not affect here. You can still make the basket to go up. Let me reduce small out of it. Just here, not at the side, because the side is just okay that way. So when I'm pleating, this is the way I'm going to pleat it to the hip line. So when I'm joining, this is the way I'm joining it. 1.5 inch like this. I will have joined it. So before I put this, the frills there, it's going to be a basket. So I told you no zipper at the back, so I'm going to be using it the same way for the front and the back. So this is my fabric that I'm going to use. I have an orange colored fabric, so I pick one of the colors in the material, so I prefer the orange color. So that's what I'm going to be using. Thing for the front and the back, but for the neck I'm not going to be using the same neck. This is the front neck that will cut. So for the back neck, it will be the same width, but by 1 inch down. I don't want the back to be too down. So I've placed my pattern paper on the fabric. So the first thing is I'm going to cut it together with the back. After cutting it with the back, I cut the shoulder slope. After the shoulder slope, the armhole. I told you I'm not putting zipper because this material is stretchy. It's a mikado fabric, a stretchy mikado. So I'm cutting the side now. And the basket side. So I've cut it out the basket side. So after that, I'm going to be removing the back and cutting the front neck. So this is the front neck line. So this is the front and the back. So this is my half length here. So this is the neck. The back is bigger than the front, so I can actually do a slit here if I want. It all depends on you. So this is it. I'm just going to join the shoulder, the side, and I'll put my frills. Right now I'm already on the machine. I'm putting the facing, the front facing. So I would not cheat for it to be smooth. And you top stitch on the facing inside. So this is the front facing. This is the neck. So this is the back. I told you the back neck is not as low as the front neck. And I will top stitch. This material does not need any lining because it's stretchy, and within 30 minutes you can make it. So the next thing for me is to join the front and back shoulder together. So I've joined one shoulder. So this is how it will look like when you open it up. This is how it will look like. So the next thing is to join the second shoulder in the side, which is 1.5 inches allowance. So if you know you have not yet mastered your measurements, you measure it 1.5 inches downward. .5 inches. So I'm going to be joining the second side too. So after joining it, I'm going to open it up. I'm going to open it up. This is it. So the next thing for me now is to put my pleat at the down, and I'm starting from the side of the basket. So I've notched the center of this fabric and the center of the other fabric. So I'm pleating it. Depending on the pleating you want, you might want to do a bigger one or a smaller one. But for me, I'm doing a smaller pleat. So I'm at the basket side now, at the center. And this is my notching here also. So the other side, but I will not remove the machine foot because I don't want it to go and have a rough shape. So I'm still going. Just take your time to do the pleats and make sure you are. So you take your time in aligning the, and see I'm putting it at the side now. So this is the remaining part. So wow, our basket waistline down, you see. So let me do the second. Join this side. I'm going to join the second side. So this is the sleeve I'm going to be putting. You know it's a fitted blouse gown, so I'm going to be putting an exaggerated puff sleeve there. So this is the sleeve. So I'm going to trim down my armhole. It's a bit tighter, so you can actually trim down your armhole. You see that is a bit tight. So I joined the hand by 1/2 inch. So I'm going to be putting an elastic, a tiny elastic at the tip of the sleeve. So this is the 1/2 inch. So this is how I'm going to be putting it. So it's going to come as a pleat. So So I'll start the pleats from the beginning to the other end. With the hemming gum of the neck, I've put hemming gum on the neck, so I want to iron the neck. But mind you, if you want to iron, please don't iron directly on your fabric. Find another fabric, but preferably a fabric that will not fade. You place it on it and iron it. You see the way I'm ironing it, so that it will not spoil the fabric. So and you can actually use a steam iron, or you sprinkle your water on it, not too much, so that it won't be too wet. So now I will iron the side also. So that even if the iron is hot, it won't affect your dress upon all the stress you've been going through things. So this is the second side. I'll place the fabric on it, sprinkle the water, or you use a steam iron, you press the water. So I'm through with that. So this is our basque waistline gown. It's coming out beautifully. So by the time I'm through with the ironing, you will see it well. So I will iron it at the front and also at the back. So I'm almost through. Now I'm through with the sewing of the basque gown. So the next thing is I'm going to cross check my length measurement. So it's 40. This is the 40. But if you look at this middle where we have the basque, we have 44.5. So what we are going to do, because you know is we use the length of the side, which is the basque side, for the remaining of the length. If you go and use this length here, it will be shortened here. So if you see it now, we have our length 40 accurate. So I'm going to be reducing out of the middle. But if you think that you don't want to remove out of the middle, you want it to be just straight like that, you want the effect to come down, you can actually leave it. It's not compulsory you remove it. But for this one, I don't want it, so I'm going to be removing out of it only at the center of the front and back. That's where you can see where I'm removing it, only at the center. It's not extending to the side. So you can either weave the down or you sew it. So this is my length, you can see it here. This is my length here. So like I told you, I'm going to be using a puff, and this is an elastic at the hand and it's a puffed sleeve. You can actually make your own neck V shape, and you see the pleats on the sleeve looks like. So I'm already through with my basque hipline gown. So as you can see, this is my basque hipline gown. This is the up. I told you it's a stretchy material, so I don't need to put a zipper. And this is the hand. On the mannequin,